Dear all, my name is Aristeidis Strimenopoulos, and with the chance of presenting to the 14th Experimental Archaeology Conference, I am about to present the preliminary results of our ongoing experimental project concerning the understanding of labial striations on dental remains. So the specific presentation is divided in 5 parts, beginning with the introduction with the definition of dental microanalysis and the introduction as well to the paramasticatory behavior and how to infer the behavior of an individual through the conduction of dental microanalysis. We'll continue with the information on the experimental framework and the overview of the applied comparative methodologies, while presenting as well the preliminary results with the characteristics of the produced experimental striations, following the discussion and conclusions. So dental microanalysis is the analysis of the non-pathological loss of the dental tissue, which can be attributed to dietary habits or paramasticatory activities. So concerning paramasticatory activities and generally the reconstruction of behavior, generally the archaeological record has proven that the conduction of an activity using the mouth has been an important element throughout the human lineage from as early as the early Pleistocene. And we can understand and detect the specific activity that was conducted using the mouth, since each one results to a different dental feature. So we have the use of the mouth as a third hand for the stabilization of an object. We have enamel chipping, which occurs from the tearing or searing of an object in the enamel surface, while we have grooves, which indicate generally the toothpicking behavior. Framework of the specific experiment, we focus on the first activity, which is called also stuff and cut hypothesis, in which we have the stabilization of an object on the mouth of an individual, and in this case the mouth is being used as the third hand. In this case, the dental feature that we have are the parallel striations, which mostly appear on the labial surfaces of anterior dentition. So, of course, as said before, each activity has a different dental feature, which has as well a different morphology. So we have the cut mark-like feature on the stuff and cut hypothesis with the use of the mouth as a third hand, which has mostly a V-shaped transverse section. While concerning enamel chipping, we have a fracture of the enamel surface, which results of a tooth encountering a solid, hard object with sufficient force to break the enamel. Finally, concerning toothpicking behavior, we have the morph of parallel striations with the characteristic of polished enamel between them. So, concerning the specific experiment, we have analyzed macroscopically the morphology of paramasticatory striations on human teeth using different raw materials. So we have adopted a complementary methodological framework using both an optical microscope and a 3D digital one, and we intending to use and combine two different methodological frameworks in order to understand the level of complementation among them and to explore their applications for the finest archaeological interpretation. While our raw materials are coming from diverse geographical latitudes, and more specifically from Brandon in United Kingdom, while we have also materials from Sierra de Atapuerca in Spain and the area of Tarragona in Spain as well. Finally, for the data and image analysis, we have used some softwares that are widely applied in the discipline of dental microanalysis, and which are Photoshop, Image and Past Statistical Calculator. While for the technological analysis, we have used the analytical system developed in the Catalan Institute of Human Paleoecology and Social Evolution, or IPHES, and in which we have positive-based flakes without retouch, which come from 3 different raw materials, which are flint, limestone, and quartzite. So concerning the experiment, we have applied the specific flakes, the flakes of these specific raw materials, on the labial and buccal surfaces of the teeth of our sample pool, while we have light unidirectional movements from a right-handed person with an angle ranging between 45 and 60 degrees. Continuing with the microscopic observations, we managed to find the exact same facet, an exact same striation that was produced on both pieces of microscopic equipment. Of course, it should be noted that in these cases, the quality of the obtained image is heavily dependent on the properties of the used microscopic equipment, and thus differences can be seen. However, generally, the broader view of all the experimental striations indicate that the framework which was followed concerning the use of the microscopic equipment can be characterized as correct, since we can have a direct comparison between all the values. And subsequently, we managed to see exactly the difference on the groove shape as it can be seen in the textbooks, in which for the striation produced by quartzite, we have a different groove shape with the one produced from limestone, and it's more V-shaped on the one of quartzite and a more U-shaped one on the paramasticatory striation produced from limestone. Concerning the comparison of the paramasticatory striation produced from quartzite and flint, we can find some similarities with respect to the shape of the groove, since in both cases we have a more V-shaped one. However, in this case, the interest is focused on the density of both striations, since it appears that in quartzite the striation is much more shallow, while on the one produced from flint, the striation is more on depth. Probably due to the mineral properties of its raw material, respectively. Further understand the differences of the paramasticatory striations produced from the three used raw materials, we adopted the protocol of Valchier et al. For this specific study. As seen before, flint and quartzite present a similar groove shape, which is however different from the one produced from limestone. Similarities as well can be seen on the symmetry of it, being symmetrical on flint and quartzite and asymmetrical on limestone. Furthermore, the average number of internal microstriations presents closely related values on flint and quartzite, with the absence of the specific variable on the striations produced from limestone. And concerning the average length of the internal microstriations in micrometers, we have a bigger number on the ones produced from quartzite, followed by the one produced from flint. It's important to notice in this point that these values are characterized as statistically significant based on the Human-Whitney non-parametric test, which indicates and underlines the differences concerning the specific variable among these two raw materials. And finally, with respect to the Hertzian cones, we have a bigger number of Hertzian cones on the striations produced from flint, a smaller one from quartzite, and the absence of Hertzian cones generally in the cut marks produced on the enamel surfaces from limestone. In this point, it is important to mention that the specific study provides the first ground for the understanding of the morphological differentiation of paramasticatory labial striations, which are produced from different raw materials in an experimental framework, and thus the parallels in the bibliography that we have found are about experimental cut marks, which are, however, on bones, and are more focused in a taphonomical approach. So the bipolar non-anvil technique has been proven in the bibliography that is more accurate and cutting edge than the one of freehand. while studies have also indicated that quartzite produces a cut mark with a bigger edge durability, while limestone produces a cut mark with which is less effective, and it doesn't have such a potential use life. And finally, the cut marks of quartzite and flint are characterized by V-shaped groove, while the one of limestone is characterized by a more U-shaped one. So, in order to conclude, the production of paramasticatory striations through abrasion is characterized by morphological differences based on its raw material. Also, our preliminary results underline that the finer grained sedimentary rocks, such as flint, can possibly provide similar paramasticatory striations on the enamel surfaces as the coarse grained ones, such as limestone. Moreover, the produced striations from limestone depict the least number of qualitative characteristics, and it's important to notice that further analysis can highlight the role of the specific raw material and generally of raw materials with similar mineral properties. And it's important to notice that we have the ability to detect experimental labial striations on both pieces of the microscopic equipment used, while further observations can highlight the differences between the enamel properties of the deciduous and permanent dentition. It is important to mention that the specific study in this point is characterized by specific limitations, which are the small sample size, since we have included 16 dental remains in total, while we don't have a wide representation of raw materials generally. However, the next steps include the introduction of more deciduous teeth in order to understand the difference on the enamel properties between the deciduous and permanent dentition, the introduction of a bigger variety of raw materials, and the use of a confocal microscope in order to obtain some principles of dental microwear texture analysis, which can significantly help in the effort of quantification and the general understanding of the morphological differentiation between the labial striations produced by different raw materials. So here I have placed some indicative references that we used during the conduction and the design of the specific experiment. So we would like to thank you very much for your time. In this slide, you can find also my personal email along with the accounts on ResearchGate and LinkedIn for possible inquiries. Thank you very much.